There it is. Hey, hello, how you doing? I'm gonna switch over to this tool. Hello. Hope y'all had a good Christmas. Hey, I'm good, Lego Motion. How are you? I got me some green fiber optic glass to work on here. Some really pretty stuff. I don't know if it was you guys last time I went live on here, but I sold everything except for these two. So if it was one of you guys or gals, I appreciate it. This message is held for review. That's why you're built like a munchkin man. Hurry the fuck up. Oh, I see why they hid your messages now. I'll go ahead and re-hide them. Anywho, hope y'all had a good Christmas. Hey, at least YouTube Live hides that stuff. It's kind of nice. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I sold everything that I had except for these two within the last couple of days. So I'm trying to make more. This is fiber optic green glass. So this is not natural obsidian, it's man-made glass. But obsidian and man-made glass, I can't tell the difference between the two, like as far as working with it, because they're both made up of mainly silica. So I also work with obsidian, but I've never been able to tell the difference. Prices are quite expensive. Well, when you take into account all material, the 5 years it took me to learn how to make these, and the fact that they're totally handmade, shipping costs, plus the leather for the sheaths, the display stands, I don't really make that much off of them the way that it is. So, and I even have both of these 10% off. So, I know there's people out there that charge a lot more than I do. Flintknapping is not easy, and it's taken me a long time to be able to craft something like that. Has taken me a while. So, hey, thank you. I do ship to the UK. I just shipped to the UK, as a matter of fact, yesterday. Never had an issue with it. Of course, you'll have to pay international shipping. Oh, getting some nice flakes here. You guys will really like this once I clear the face off. I would say that this fiber optic green glass is definitely one of my favorites. The only thing that would be different is there would be an additional charge for international shipping. Me please, sniper. Me please, what? I'm making a dagger. I'm gonna make a dagger. But yeah, guys, if you want one of these, I've got these for 10% off. And my website is arrowsniperarchery.com. But this is going to be a beauty. It's quite thick, so it's going to take a little time to get it where I want it. Oh, I ordered some really, really nice leather for my sheaths. I think you guys will like it. I'm also in the process of tanning some deer hides. Not real sure what I'm gonna make with the deer hides yet. Thought about making myself a pair of moccasins. Who cares? Your mom? Your mom cares. How exactly am I cheating? Because I don't see you doing it. If you're saying I'm cheating because I'm using a preform, they've been using preforms since the ancient Egyptian times. I can work raw material and preforms. It's probably because I sell a few hundred of these a year, and I don't want to have 5,000 pounds of waste from doing all these big blades from giant pieces of raw material. So it's more of a, you know, to conserve, to get more for my money and have less waste. But working a preform is not as easy as people think. I actually know a lot of people that work raw material that cannot work a preform without breaking them. So they're kind of, they're both hard. All of Flintknapping's hard. Preforms and raw material. Yeah, you can. There's some people that will melt that down in a kiln and make new preforms. Obsidian is no different whatsoever. Whatsoever. I mean, if you would like me to save you some, I'd be fine with that. I'm looking to try this craft out. Where can I get starter tools for less? The best website that I recommend would be Hunt Primitive. He's got some starter kits. I used to have them on my website, but I stopped making them a little while ago. How no different? Obsidian is harder. Not necessarily. Made glass is very, very similar to obsidian because they're both about 70% silica. And that is copper. And I've made probably just as much stuff out of obsidian as I have man-made glass. Like here's an obsidian, where's it at? Made a little obsidian arrowhead the other night. That's spiderweb obsidian. Really, it's kind of large for an arrowhead, but I just wanted to make it. Yeah, I would definitely say that obsidian is, where it's a natural occurring material. You're more likely to get random air pockets and fractures that are hidden than man-made glass. Man-made glass is definitely much cleaner and has way less impurities. Because sometimes you will find a little, like a chamber inside of the obsidian with like million-year-old dirt in it. I wouldn't say that that obsidian is any stronger than man-made glass. Not in my experience. It is sharper, like on a microscopic level, but I don't think you would be able to tell a difference. They're both very sharp. Um, Actually, I got a deer during gun season, and I skinned it with an obsidian knife, and it was like beyond a razor blade sharp on animal hide, especially on hide. They cut really well. This is going to be gorgeous. So this is fiber optic green glass, and it's hard to tell in this dark workshop, but if you hold this up in the sunlight, I can kind of show you with my light in my shop here. But check it out. This stuff really, really illuminates with light behind it. But if it was sunny outside, it would look much better even. Yeah, that is fiber optic green glass. Leprechaun will use the knife. Maybe. You never know. I've sold these to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. But that's your business. So if you dress up as a leprechaun and you want a green knife, then that's totally fine. That ain't none of my business what you be doing behind closed doors. Yeah, that is actually a brilliant idea. I've gotten material from a few people that make glass, different colors of glass, and they're really neat. They're beautiful. But I could save this stuff up in a box and send it to someone. But even the flakes are really cool looking, and you could do whatever with it. I'll be honest with you, I have cut pretty much all the leather that I had into very small pieces. Like I'm running out of stuff to cut. But we will cut something here in a few. Now we're going to thin this piece down a little bit. Oh yeah, it's a pretty thick preform. I'd say it is about 1/4 of an inch thick. I'll end up making several reduction passes on it. Ever worked with feldspar? No, I have not. Cannot say that I have. Thank you. I believe it is. I actually believe it is the oldest, the first profession, actually. Can you show the spider web obsidian up close again? Yeah. The arrowhead. So some of this has more of the spider web pattern, but you can kind of see it. This is not, this piece don't have a bunch of like the webs in it, but that is the spider web obsidian. It's honestly like almost like a navy blue or gray color. I might just put that one for sale. I'd like to start making more necklaces again. I used to make a lot of like arrowhead necklaces. Thank you. So here's what we got so far. This will be a lovely dagger. I know a lot of people like the fiber optic green and they like the opalite. Here's the opalite. That's a really nice color. Oh, check this out. I made it for Christmas. Little arrowhead Christmas tree. Somebody said it looked like the Little Debbie, like the cakes. And they're right, because it kind of does. By the way, guys, I've got 10% off of these two knives right here on my website. My website is arrowsniperarchery.com if you're interested. It does. It looks like a little Debbie cake. Why are those things so good? Why do the things that are like super bad for your health taste so damn good? Man, that's... I kind of forgot just how pretty that green fiber optic glass is. It's pretty stunning. It is. You're right. Some people even say it's like a jade, like a jade green color. Well, we're getting it slightly thinned down here. It was a pretty thick preform. Um, I'm not sure about Geronimo, but I know Ishi did. Ishi was the last of his tribe, and he basically hung out at a museum and explained everything, like how their tribe did everything, how they made their bows, how they flint-knapped, how they hunted, and Pope and Young documented that. But I do know that Ishi really, really liked working glass, like man-made glass. I've made a few points like Ishi too. Yeah, definitely look into it. It's very interesting. He left a lot of information, valuable information. He basically started modern Flintknapping. You're from Sweden? Awesome. I'm in the US. Now we're starting to get this thing down to a much better thickness. This message was held for review. Let's see what they had to say. Nice spearhead. Why did they hide that? That's weird. There's nothing wrong with saying nice spearhead. But hey, at least YouTube's trying to filter out some of the trolls. I know you didn't hide it. I'm not sure why it was hidden, but it was. And you didn't say anything wrong. Strange. This is actually going to be a dagger blade, but it could be a spearhead, either or. But it will be hafted to a dagger handle. So that is a much better thickness. We had to remove quite a few passes. How long have you been napping? About 5 years. I've made over 1,000 of these. That's not really including spears and hatchets, necklaces. I've made a lot of hunting points for people. I've made a lot of oddball things for people. I've made a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people do leave nasty comments. And it's done a pretty good job so far at filtering them out, but I'm sure that it makes mistakes. Yeah, I'm not real positive about Geronimo, but I would definitely look up Ishi. It's green fiber optic glass. Yeah, a lot of people like this material, especially when I pair it up with a dark Osage handle. Like you can imagine, it goes really well with that color of wood. Hey, thank you. That's kind of probably what took me the longest, I guess, to come up with my own style of handles, which it's not totally my style. But I freehand these. I don't look at anything. Like each one of these handles, I make it specifically to the blade, but the shape that you see, that's just from the top of my head. So, and that glass right there has flowers in it. They used to make paperweights out of this glass back in like the 80s. This is more of a modern style blade. And an Osage handle. Really like that blue. I had a lot more stuff to show, but I sold it. I sold the majority of it over the last couple days. I don't find that this would even be uncomfortable whatsoever. Actually, it fits your fingers quite well. And I round those edges. The edges are not sharp whatsoever. So then, like, this one has finger grooves. Actually feels really nice, to be honest. Both of these are relatively cheap right now. Plus, I've got them for 10% off. Shit. Hit my camera. There we go. How are preforms created? With a giant wet saw. It's like a giant masonry saw. But if you're interested in my artwork, I have a website. It's arrowsniperarchery.com. How sharp? Extremely sharp. I don't know anything about fiber optic glass or these functional or just decorative. So the best way that I can explain it is that it has the same exact cutting edge as a primitive knife, like flint or obsidian, or any high silica content material like this. They all cut the same, and they cut with the same serrated edge. So this is going to cut just like an obsidian or a flint blade with that same serrated edge, and they're sharp as hell. Actually, I skinned a deer with one of them a few weeks back, and it worked amazingly. They're sharp. So yes, they are functional artwork. Some people don't want to use these because they're so pretty, but are they capable? Yes. Is it something that you're going to carry around like a modern steel knife? Probably not. I know people that have. But you have to remember, at the core of things, this is a primitive style knife. And to be honest, they're best at cutting animal hide, like softer materials. They they cut hide incredibly well, and I will show you. And I haven't put my final edge on this one. I'm just now creating the edge, but I'll show you how sharp this is. Let me get something to cut. Why is it telling me to rotate my phone back? It is rotated. So here's just a piece of leather. And here's a little bit of the cutting edge that I just created. So, I mean, as far as softer materials like animal hide, this shit is insanely sharp. Like, it's nothing to underestimate for sure. So, if you buy one of these as a art piece, you still need to be mindful that they are sharp. Even if you don't decide to go skin a deer with it, be careful with it. So, I mean, I'm sure you've all broken a piece of glass at one point in your life. And you know that when you go to clean glass up, you have to be careful picking it up because those broken edges are like razor blades. You've basically concentrated those glass shards along the edge. Little razor sharp glass teeth, if you will. And that makes up your cutting edge. Definitely particles. I wouldn't really recommend one of these for just using in the kitchen all the time. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. Now, like hunting, like skinning a deer, that's not really an issue. But it's not something I'd want to use over and over again, like in the kitchen. But that's just me. But honestly, like when you cut something, pieces of glass don't just fall off into the material. It doesn't really work like that. I could show you. Not in my experience. I don't know what I did with that big piece of freaking leather. So here, we'll just, we'll cut this piece here. Kind of give you a better, like, idea of how this stuff cuts. Now, one thing that you'll notice, and why this type of blade causes so much damage, is because of those teeth. Now, if you look closely, you can see where it actually grabbed the leather. You can see those little pieces of leather on the edge. But as far as like glass coming off, it doesn't really work like that. Yeah. If you cut softer materials, like I skinned a deer with one of my knives. And as long as you're cutting softer materials, the edge holds up really well. But you can resharpen them. You can resharpen them. And I've had a few people buy these for cutting mushrooms, like mushroom hunters. Like this, something like that would be perfect to just cut your mushrooms. Or you could even skin a deer with it. That's up to you. Go to arrowsniperarchery.com. That's my website. So, arrow, I've got it right here actually. Wrote down. That's my website right there. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you, PS5 with fries. Happy New Year to you. Have a great New Year. But if you want to screenshot that or whatever, I've only got 2 knives available right now because I just sold a bunch of stuff. But these 2 are really pretty. So I've got this blue one and this millefleur dagger. That's an interesting piece. It's got flowers in it. But I'm always making new stuff. So you guys can always go and check my website like every couple of days. I plan to make some necklaces. Like here's one of my arrowheads. You could, yeah. If you have a glass kiln, you could take that stuff and you can melt it down and make new pieces. Which I would like to do someday. But I'm going to get off here and have dinner. If you guys want to go check out my website, I do have both of these are 10% off right now. So you'll get a sheath, display stand, and shipping's included in the US. No, you can't eat, brother. Oh, I have to eat. Seems like I'm always hungry these days. But, alright. Well, have a good new year. I'll go live again on here soon. But I'll talk to y'all later.